Hello students, welcome to ABC Corner. Today we are starting our first unit, that is hues and views. And what do you mean by hues? Yes, hues means colors. In this chapter you have two prose works and two poems to study. The prose works are The Mysterious Picture, written by Charles D. Coster, and The Boy Who Drew Cats, written by Hasegawa Takejiro. I have two poems also. The first one is Taj Mahal, written by Rabindranath Tagore, and We Are the World, written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie. Now, just look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? Yes, it is the picture of an old man with a serious face and grey hair, isn't it? Now, just look at it closely. What you can see now? Yes, we can see a lady on a horse. She is wearing a cap. There is one man sleeping on the floor. The artist hid all these minute details from our eyes at the first sight. He does through his artistic talent. This is a mysterious picture by the artist. Now, let's discuss our story. Our story is taken from The Legend of Glorious Adventures of Tyle Eulenspiegel. It narrates an interesting episode from the life of an artist. Now, students, we are starting our first chapter, that is The Mysterious Picture, written by Charles D. Coster. At first, let's have a small description of our writer, Charles D. Coster. He is a Belgian novelist. He was born in Munich in 1827. His masterpiece is The Legend of Tyle Eulenspiegel and Lame Gottsack. He was died in 1879. So let's start our story. When the story begins, we can see Tyle, our hero, in the course of his wanderings from court to court, rode to the palace of the Archduke of Battenberg on his donkey. His appearance was very attractive. He wore a cap with 3 bright feathers on it, danced in the breeze as he rode. As he reached the main entrance of the palace, the captain of guards asked him to stop, and he made a comment that Tyle and his donkey looks like skeletons. The captain was a tall, well-built, red-haired man of about 25. He was handsomely dressed in his gold-braided uniform. For the command of guard, Tyle replied that if they look like skeletons, it is not their mistake. They were hungry for the last 3 days. But the captain came to know that Tyle is a Flemish painter. He became impressed. Tyle added that he had came to show one of his paintings to the Archduke. The guard allowed Tyle to meet the Archduke. Tyle was presented to the Archduke. Tyle showed his paintings to Archduke and delivered each words in a clever manner. Archduke was highly impressed by Tyle and offered him the seat of court painter. He got the chair of court painter. Next he drew the Archduke's attention to his donkey, Jeff. He spoke in a cunning way and he said that for the last 3 days they were in the journey to reach the palace. Jeff had been feeding himself with the bushes and thorns in the hedges and the grass from the roadside. But Tyle had nothing to eat in these last 3 days, and he added that his stomach is complaining so loudly that he had been feeding himself with the dreams of good food and drink at Archduke's royal table. Hearing this, Archduke smiled and served him supper like a wedding feast. He also ordered his servants to treat Jeff in the royal manner. While they were having supper, Archduke suddenly looked up sad, and he seemed lost in thoughts. He suddenly looked up and said, "Our court painter must paint our portrait, so that we will have the satisfaction of leaving our memory to our descendants. We too have to take our place in history along with our noble ancestors whose portraits adorn these walls. It is sad to think of death. We do not know when God will think fit to summon us, but our portrait should be painted." Hearing Archduke's wish, Tyle replied that he will take this as a command, and he suggested that it could be better if Archduke will be accompanied by Lady Virgin and other court members. Otherwise, Archduke will look alone in the painting. Hearing this, Archduke also felt that it's a good idea. Before starting to draw the picture, Tyle requested the permission from the Archduke to meet all the courtiers who wanted to be painted along with Archduke. The first to come was the commander-in-chief. He was a short, fat, bald man with enormous paunch. The commander-in-chief whispered in Tyle's ear that in the painting he wanted to be look like a handsome man with a flat stomach. Then he threatened Tyle that if he failed to do so, the commander will hang him. An elderly lady came next. She had a hump on her back. She demanded Tyle that she should look like a young lady in the picture, and also he should remove the hump from her back. She also demanded that Tyle should also supply all that she lacks in beauty, otherwise she will torn him to pieces. After the old lady, a young lady came who was the companion of the Duchess. She was young and pretty, but had lost 3 of her front teeth in an accident. She warned Tyle that in his picture she should smile with a perfect set of pearly teeth. Similar requests and threats continued until he had finished with the last of the courtiers. Now it was the turn of the Archduke. He ordered, "My dear fellow, I want your portrait to be perfect in every detail. You are to paint all my courtiers exactly as we see them. If you leave out a mole, a pimple, or a single grey hair, I will have you slaughtered like a pig." Tyle fell in utter confusion. What to do? He thought. If I draw the painting exactly like them, the courtiers will kill me. If I make any changes, the Archduke will kill me. He was in such a dilemma that he thought that it was wiser not to paint the picture at all. The following day, Archduke showed Tyle a large room to paint his picture. Tyle requested to hang big curtains to be there on the walls to protect his painting from dust and flies. He also asked for 3 men to assist him. 30 days passed. Tyle and his assistants feasted themselves on choicest dishes. On 31st day, Archduke thrust his nose into the door and inquired about the picture. But the picture was not complete, and Archduke was ready to wait. Tyle and his companions continued their merrymaking for another fortnight, 14 days. On the 45th day, Archduke again peeped through the door, but the picture was not at all complete, and Tyle begged for some more time. The Archduke said that his delay did not matter so long as he did it an excellent job. But he added, "You should either complete the picture within 15 days or you should show me the unfinished picture now." Tyle promised to complete the picture within 15 days. Tyle and his companions enjoyed for yet another fortnight. On the 16th day, the Archduke forced his way into the room and said, "I must see the picture at once." "Where is the picture? Draw those curtains apart." Tyle replied that the picture is ready, but he requested to call all the courtiers to assemble there to see the picture. Archduke agreed. Within minutes, all the courtiers assembled there. Tyle addressed them, "My lord, ladies, and gentlemen, the picture is ready. You will now be able, as I draw the curtains, to see how well I have done my work. You can all admire my work, but I must warn you that there is something very special about this picture. Only those among you who have noble blood in your veins will be able to see this picture. All the rest, whatever their rank or position, will see nothing but a blank wall. Now I'll draw the curtains." Tyle flung the curtains aside. The courtiers started to praise Tyle's painting, as if they are seeing a beautiful picture on that bare wall. They remarked how natural each one of them looked in the picture and eagerly pointed out their friends and acquaintances. All of a sudden, the Duke's jester leaped into the air and shouted, "All of you know that I am a fool and I have no blue blood in my veins. I can see no picture but only a blank wall." "When fools begin to talk," observed Tyle, "it's time for wise men to walk." He calmly strode out of the hall and rode away on his donkey. Through these tactics, Tyle escaped from there without painting a picture. Feathers in his cap were still dancing with the breeze. Now, students, I hope you enjoyed the story. So, you read it again and again. There are a lot of new words that you can see in the story, such as enormous, splendor, summon, etc. So, you just find out the meaning by checking a dictionary, and also you can add more words which you feel difficult.